You know, you can be my wingman anytime.
Bull, you can be mine. Come on, Maverick, let's go see some real heroes. Rory, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. We're so excited to be here at the museum to learn about Canada's history.
My pleasure.
This is the second largest Canadian military museum in Canada. You guys got tons of stuff here.
Yeah, we're kind of billed as the Canadian War Museum West, so second only to the Canadian War Museum in Ottawa. Some people that have been here actually say that they like us better than the Canadian War Museum, but that's just personal preference.
For sure.
But yeah, we've got 7 museums under one roof here, so there's lots to explore, 107,000 square feet. So you could really spend a week here if you wanted to, right? We, amongst the 7 museums, we try and be tri-service, so Army, Navy, Air Force. Yeah. So we've got 5 Army museums, we've got the Air Force Museum of Alberta, we've got the Naval Museum of Alberta, and then we've got our temporary gallery as well, the Founders Gallery. So there's always a new exhibit in there. We rotate through every 3-4 months kind of thing, keep things fresh, keep people coming back, so there's always something new to see.
Wow, that's a lot to take in.
Oh yeah, and then of course there's the mural mosaic behind us as well, which is sort of an exhibit in and of itself.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like right when you come in the front door, it's breathtaking.
That's
Impact
incredible.
right away.
The
Yeah.
amount of work that went into that just must be mind-blowing.
Oh yeah, yeah, and there's history and stories behind each of the tiles on the mural
When
mosaic.
you were saying that the one tile was actually one of the artists from the Second World War, I think you said that.
That's right, Molly Lambeau Back. She was an official war artist during the Second World War, so we're really privileged to have one of her pieces included in the mural mosaic.
That's awesome. Well, I'm stoked to check it out and learn some new things.
Absolutely.
Today we are visiting the inner city community of Garrison Woods, a neighborhood that has successfully restructured and reshaped itself to adapt to changing use and needs. Back in 1933, the Currie Barracks opened as an army training center on 450 acres of land in the area. Military personnel and their families lived in 565 housing units, giving shape to the neighboring communities. But in 1998, the base was officially closed and the families moved out. The closure presented the developer, Canada Lands Company, with a unique opportunity. Rather than tear everything down and start over, they decided to bridge the past and the present. 400 of the military houses were refurbished. 2 large buildings were converted into schools. Mature trees were incorporated into the site plan. Road standards and public spaces were established to pay tribute to the community's rich military history. With the nearby Marda Loop Business District, one of Calgary's most popular outdoor shopping areas, and the numerous recreational opportunities at Glenmore Athletic Park, River Park, Sandy Beach, Flames Community Arena, Garrison Curling Club, and the Marda Loop Communities Association Hall, Garrison Woods has become one of Calgary's most sought-after communities to live.
Did you know that many of the streets in Garrison Woods are named after battles in Canadian military history?
You know what, when I was driving around today in Garrison Woods, I absolutely noticed that.
Oh, hey, Sean, come on in.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. Glad you guys could slip by.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is absolutely beautiful.
Like you can see, got the classic open, design. And lots. One of the things we were looking for was still keep it open, but still have lots of storage. And this place met that requirement.
It's beautiful.
A place to keep the mail from overtaking the living room and the kitchen table.
Everything has its place. It's so neat.
Connie, my wife, put together the color scheme and spent quite a bit of time looking for the stuff, right? And but we didn't spend oodles, right?
It's incredible, Brian. Why did you come to Marda Loop? Why
Well, both of us spent a lot of time out in the suburbs, right? Basically from when we graduated from school, like in our early 20s, and then raised our children out there. And frankly, the commute was getting to like 45 minutes one way, 2 hours on a snowy night.
What do you love about your house?
Well, I could tell you a lot of things about it. So let's step upstairs to the
Sure.
first level. So as we come up here, this is of course the bedroom level, and
Beautiful.
the boys are here. Colton and Brett's actually downstairs. I'm using this space here as an office.
Okay.
This is the master, and this is one of the
my
things.
gosh.
This is one of the things we liked about it is that, in fact,
And this is the ensuite?
yes, it is.
Oh! Look at this floor! And the shower, and look at that piece above the bathtub.
Nice and heated, so your tootsies are warm in the winter.
This is beautiful, Brian.
When we were shopping, one
Yeah.
of the things we noticed as we were going through, we looked at a number of places, 4 or 5. Well, actually, I'm lying, about a dozen. And then we came across one place that had a loft. Immediately, that answered a lot of our questions of how we were going to put Connie and I
Right.
in the same situation with almost 2 teens, right?
Right.
Senior teens, but still teens, right, with their own interests.
You need your own space.
Yeah, so anyways, and the loft solved that problem for us, right? One of the things we loved about the loft is that the huge amount of light in it. And
my
anytime, day or night, like when the morning, you've got the morning sun coming in, this window here gives you, puts a real glow of light in from the west.
Brian, this is incredible.
And then this is where we zone out in front of the tube on Netflix, right?
Yeah, so would
Okay.
this loft kind of be part of your lifestyle?
I think I can explain it out here. The kids basically are all living a downtown experience now. Sean's over just on the other side of the river on 15th,
Okay.
15th Street. And Elise and Kevin, my daughter and son-in-law, live about 6-7 blocks that way. They have a little condo down there.
So everyone's really close.
I have two of them are still in school. Sean's going to Mount Royal. Brett's going to Olds College, which is just downtown as
Right.
well. And so it made sense for all of us. It was a huge commute, and Con and I wanted to establish our own kind of future.
Right.
And we thought moving out of the area we'd lived for the last 35 years made sense in that regard.
Thank
Anyways,
you so much for your time today,
Oh,
Brian.
thank you.
I appreciate it.
yeah, well, we love the place, and after a year and a half, the newness hasn't worn off yet.
No.
No, it's really nice.
Aw, thank you.
Thanks.
Rory, you must have an extensive archive.
Yeah, our library and archives here, the main one is run by the University of Calgary. And just in their Chicksands collection of books alone, there's 50,000 volumes, including an original 18th century Frederick the Great publication. So it's a lot of interesting material, but the archives portion, it contains love letters, it contains oral histories from veterans, Second World War veterans, even some First World War veterans. And photographs, there's tons of photographs in the collection too.
It seems like the community around here has kind of embraced that history too and brought it in, because it dates back quite a while. I met up with the local historian, History Harry, today. We took a walk down brand new Menning Gates, and he kind of gave me a lot of backstory around this area. How's it going today?
Very well, Patrick. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day to go for a walk in Marda Loop.
Beautiful day in my neighborhood.
It is something I was kind of found interesting. This community's been around for quite a long time, but as we were kind of talking off camera before about that, everything looks new, but it's got some age to it. So tell me a little bit about how this kind of came together.
It's true. This was annexed to Calgary in 1910 when Calgary was in a big growth spurt before the First World War.
Right.
And yet, other than a couple of houses in the background, and you could do a 360 here and you wouldn't see anything older than 15 years. So it's been totally remade. So it was lightly developed in, from 1910 up until the Second World War. And there's a bit of a backstory too, because we're quite close to the Tsuut'ina Reserve. So this was a point of passage between Calgary and the Tsuut'ina Nation. And also for military personnel who were stationed at Sarcy Camp, as it was during the First World War. What really made this neighborhood livable was the streetcar, which was extended here just before the First World War, which made it possible to live in South Calgary, as this was called, and work downtown. So, you had some institutions of life. You had, a fair bit of housing, not like today. And King Edward School, which is going to be an arts hub, that was one of the largest sandstone schools built in Calgary. You had the first church that united to become a united church in all of Calgary was in this neighborhood. So there's some history to this that goes way back. What changed is after the Second World War, with the suburbanization in Calgary, as in other large cities, so the South Calgary neighborhood really filled out. The Altadore neighborhood, which is now part of Garrison Woods, was developed. And the other thing is, after the Second World War, the federal government got into building military housing for military families. So instead of just having single men in barracks, as you had going back to the 30s when Currie Barracks was built across Crowchild Trail, now you had houses, with like suburban living for the men and their families. And what they did in what's now Garrison Woods, they built these houses on this sort of S-shaped pattern. It was a garden city concept. So all of the houses, you could drive up to the back of your house, but the front of your house faced inward into this common green with all the other family, houses around, so your kids could all play together.
Yeah, the mingling. Yeah.
Exactly. No fences or anything like that. But after the base shut down in the late 90s, they reconfigured everything. Yeah. They took those original houses, so they still exist. They took them right down to the studs and made them modern, made them more livable, and repositioned them. So they've still got the military names for the battle honors for the streets, but the streets are all reconfigured to make a much more dense neighborhood that's got all this shopping and new housing in it as well. But it's still a beautiful leafy suburb right near downtown.
So you've lived here for quite a long time. You live it every day. This is your community. So what do you love about it?
Well, I'm all about history, so I love living in a neighborhood that's got some traditions to it. And I get that every day, from seeing some of the few remaining older houses, the old King Edward School that's now going to be an arts hub, the old-time store, Hughes Grocery, with the red Coca-Cola button over the door.
It's still there. I love it.
Still there. Yep. But of course, it's great to have local shops, to have our own local business district in the Marda Loop, and great to be so close to downtown. I can hop on my bike and ride downtown and be there in minutes. Although at my age, I can't quite make it up the hill to get back home.
Oh, you're just gonna have to work on that, man. You got a few more years to go.
I'll do it.
Thanks for meeting with me, man. Have a good day.
Thanks, Patrick.
Sure.
Mazook Albert, LLP. For matrimonial and family law, wills and estate planning, corporate, business law, and real estate. Mazook Albert.
City Palette, Calgary's culinary connection.
Diva Salon Spa. 7 locations to serve Calgary. divasalonspa.com.
SB, Inglewood's amazing design boutique, specializing in Canadian design goods. SB Experience.
EXP Realty, agent-owned cloud brokerage. Beyond the crowds and in the cloud.
A future of real estate today.
So the tank that you see behind me is a Sherman tank. It was kind of the standard tank that Canadians used in the Second World War towards the end of the war. It was one of the more successful tanks of the war, actually. Interesting story with this particular one. The Calgary tanks actually used a Sherman tank as a bridge layer So they laid a bridge across the top of the tank, and then they drove the tank into a river in Italy, and we were able to cross the river and advance across it. You can actually see a diorama of that in the museum. Good old Canadian ingenuity.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't notice these when I was driving around Garrison Woods today.
Well, welcome here, and
Thank you. This is fantastic, guys.
thanks
Can
for
I
coming.
just like make my way into your house?
Absolutely.
Everybody else does.
Take a look around.
Fun red chairs.
Habitat for Humanity. They are the best.
Wow.
Yeah, we've had the fortune to use them a lot, actually. All of the windows in our house, and
Habitats.
our dining table, the chairs, our patio furniture. It's amazing what people want to get rid of, and then go shopping. That's what I say.
Did you land in Marda?
I landed here because of him.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. But how did you come here?
The river was a big part of it. The Stanley Park is another big part of it. Like, it's so close to cool stuff. Did I land in Marda? No, I landed where I was different from where I am.
So what's your favorite part of the house? Because there's so many amazing areas and nooks in your place.
I agree, and I think that I love this area because it's like I can sit here while he cooks in the kitchen.
That's good. I like it.
But I think for me, the favorite room would probably be the bedroom and the bathroom because they're
Can I
connected
see?
and
Oh my gosh! Look at that mirror in your sink.
yeah.
Oh, I love it. Love
I know
it,
that's
love it.
another one of those repurposed, discarded items when we stained it and then used it in here.
Voila! Oh, can I go upstairs and see what's up here?
Absolutely. Come on here.
Oh, look it.
Yeah, we like art.
Yes.
Oh,
No one.
beautiful.
Thank you. And here,
Wow.
this is probably another one of my little favorite spots, just because
You can see the
you can really
garden.
appreciate all the garden, and it's just one of those English garden kind of feels when you're out there for sure.
So would you say that the garden and art are big parts of your lifestyle?
Probably, yeah. I mean, the garden, for one thing, is we've salvaged so many of those plants
From the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
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 That's incredible.
Don't tell the neighbors.
It's okay, shh. Guys, thank you so much for having me into your home today. This is incredible.
Well, thanks for taking the time to come. It's been a
Oh,
pleasure.
anytime.
It's been a pleasure.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
Diva Salon Spa. 7 locations to serve Calgary. divasalonspa.com.
SB, Inglewood's amazing design boutique, specializing in Canadian design goods. SB Experience.
City Palette, Calgary's culinary connection.
EXP Realty, agent-owned cloud brokerage. Beyond the crowds and in the cloud.
A future of real estate today.
Mazook Albert, LLP. For matrimonial and family law, wills and estate planning, corporate, business law, and real estate. Mazook Albert.
to the Cold War exhibit.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
This is what a bomb shelter looks like, and everybody was encouraged to build a bomb shelter back in the 50s and 60s. Not many Canadians really actually did build one of these, but the idea was to sink this bomb shelter into your backyard, about 7 or 8 feet underneath the ground, a couple feet of dirt on top. So if the nuclear war had went hot, you had a place to go to survive while the radiation was still deadly in the air.
I have to ask, what about the bathroom?
Down there in that bucket.
In the
And,
bucket.
It wouldn't have been comfortable, but the repercussions, you couldn't go outside, otherwise you would die. You would perish from the radiation, and that would probably have to last a week.
You know, I don't think I could do this for very long. I really don't.
This is a CF-104 Starfighter. It held the world speed record and the world altitude record for quite a few years. I flew the Starfighter from 1975 to 1983.
That's so cool.
I think I can drive one of these.
I don't know, not with your driving record. Well, I guess at least you don't have to worry about turning the wrong way down one-way streets.
It was one time. Hello, this place is amazing.
Isn't it great? Yeah, it's pretty charming.
It's so charming. There's so much energy in this place.
Yeah.
Yeah, start us off. Tell us a little bit about the history. How old is this place?
This place was built in 1912.
1912.
Which is really nice. And it was built by the Kelly family, and that same family owned it through the generations through till the early 80s. So lots of stories, lots of history. They were really quite a strong family in the neighborhood. There was many of their relatives living around. I've had the great opportunity of speaking to the grandkids of the last grandma that lived here. So they've got great stories about playing in this house and in the front yard, in the back garden, and just telling us what it was like growing up in Marda Loop and what it was like romping around this house. And of course I had to ask, how do you feel now being in your grandmother's house with all these strangers?
Exactly.
And they're just so happy, first of all, that it wasn't torn down. We have to hang on to this beautiful piece of history and antiquity. And they just said, it's filled with laughter and food and people enjoying each other's company, which is what their grandmother just loved to have happen in this building. So
yeah, I was going to say, they must be
honored.
happy to that it's still here.
Yeah.
And it's like a cornerstone of Marda Loop.
Yeah, and it has happy people in it, so I'm pretty honored to hear that.
Because it's kind of like the gateway. You come in,
Carly,
come in on the main street there, and it's the
Oh my.
special salad. It's free.
Special. It's special.
Thanks, Harp.
Thank you. This looks fantastic.
It looks really fresh. You were saying earlier that you guys are about real food. Like, what does that mean?
Well, it just really comes down to that. When somebody asked me to describe my menu and my vision, it's just real, good food. And it's real. Our salad dressings are from scratch. We bake the crust for the flatbreads. We bake the Kaisers. Everything is made from the heart and by hand. And
Lots of love in your kitchen.
Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of love in a very little kitchen. A lot of imagination as well.
What brought you here?
I actually had been living and working. I had a restaurant in the mountains, and I moved to Calgary, and a friend lived in Marda Loop, so I said, it seemed like fun. And then I just fell in love with it. It's such a great community. We have everything you need here. And if you don't need a car, you don't need a car. Everything, shopping, of course, great restaurants. We're right off a really good bus route, just off of Crowchild. The bike path is just over here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on, and it continues to grow. Every year we see Marda Loop just getting more and more vibrant, and it just has a lot of spirit. So there's a lot going on here that we're really proud of.
Yeah, it's quite a collection of cool shops too. Like, it's
Very
not
much.
just the chain things. It's all kind of just like here, like just unique kind of places.
yeah.
Like even the gym that's around is different than other places.
Yeah.
So it's all about that kind of unique thing.
There's a lot of small, independently owned
Right,
businesses, and
right.
people flock to that because we have enough large restaurants, large companies and businesses to suit our needs. But people like going and getting a unique experience. And there's a lot of that in Marda Loop. I actually was surprised. I've lived here for 15 years, and there's 134 businesses in Marda Loop. That's anywhere from restaurants to offices, dentists, doctors, gyms, yoga studios.
Tattoo parlors.
Tattoo parlors. one of the oldest.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's a great little hood. I encourage everybody to come down and check it out.
Well, I encourage everybody to come to the farmer's house and
And
check
take
out
this,
some of
absolutely.
this food.
Dig in, guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our chicken and pesto, and then our chef really, he and I both really like working with fresh ingredients. So we have stuff shipped in from BC, and we put together nice feature salads like this with all just nice, beautiful ingredients.
Homemade dressing.
Homemade dressing.
Homemade from scratch.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's nothing in there you can't pronounce.
That's awesome.
Thank you so
Yeah, I'm
much.
good.
Let's
I'm gonna
dig
dig in
in.
on this,
Yeah.
I think. And
Are you gonna use your fingers?
I got not anymore.
What do you think?
Wardrobe provided by SB.
Okay, ready? So head pressed against the headrest, chin slightly elevated, back straight, hips against the back seat, thighs flat on seat, feet on rubber pedals, heels on the floor, and then ready? The ejection control handle.
Now we just need to get one of these into your car so I can be safe.
True. It's not mine.